If Chinese history were condensed into 24 hours, it would be a spectacular day. The 0.S Habu formed a tribal alliance. You founded China's first slavery dynasty. It was destroyed by Shang Tang more than 2 hours later. Out of these troubled times, Oracle was born. At dawn, Zhou Wuwang attacked King Zhou, who was unscrupulous. The Zhou dynasty established an NFA-offment system. However, no more advanced system and planning can withstand the waste of a bad king. An hour later the people rioted and beat Zhou Liwang. The Eastern Zhou dynasty begins at 7:30. The 5 powerful chiefs of the spring and autumn period appeared in less than 2 hours. Confucianism, Taoism, calligraphy, law and 100 schools of thought contend. At 9:30, the 7 princes of the warring states seceded and proclaimed themselves king. The scuffle lasted an hour and a half. Qin Shi Huang swept away the 6 and unified the world. China is united for the first time in its history. But just 5 minutes later, Qin was killed by tyranny. At 1119, China ushered in its first prosperous age, the flourishing age of Han and Wu dynasties. Where the enemy can go, so can my army. It deposed all schools of thought and respected Confucianism. Diplomatically, during the reign of Emperor Wudi of the Han dynasty, he wanted to attack the Huns and send Zhang Chen as an envoy to the western regions. Known as one of the foremost beautiful women in China, Wang Zhaojuan married the savage king of Xiongnu. A multi-ethnic United State is taking shape. At 1730, beginning of the Eastern Han dynasty, Cao Cao controlling the emperor and commanding the noble, rule the north in a minute. Liu Bei visited the thatched cottage 3 times and Zi Hugeliang came out of the mountains. Sun Quan occupied the southeast. The 3 kingdoms faced off against each other. 10 minutes later, the Eastern Han dynasty ended. During the next nearly 2 minutes of East-West division and North-South division, the monks fled west and began painting in Dunhuang caves. At 1535, China was once again unified under the Sui dynasty. Emperor Yang dug the Grand Canal to create the imperial examination system. Chinese culture has been exported on a large scale. Japan sent envoys to study in Sui 5 times. At 1545, China's greatest dynasty begins, the governance of Zhenguan prosperous times. During this period, Wu Zetian, the first female emperor, stood at the top of power. She ruled the world with the help of Di Renjie. At 1746, the northern Song was attacked alternately by the Liao Shaya and Jin. 2 hours later, Kublai Khan led 3,000 iron horses to overthrow the southern Song dynasty. China is once again unifying its territory and expanding to an unprecedented extent. 29. Those things in Ming dynasty starts. This is the most technologically advanced era of the Chinese Navy. Zheng He made 7 voyages to the western seas to promote national prestige. Write down Chinese names in Europe, Africa and the South Pacific. At 944, the Qing dynasty was founded and the 3 most important emperors were born. Open the prosperous times of Kangxi and Qianlong. To recover Taiwan and repel Tsarist Russia, the Qing dynasty cut off diplomacy with the rest of the world and refused to have any dealings with other countries. Within an hour, Britain had opened China's door through the Opium War. China signed the first unequal treaty in modern times. The earliest intellectuals began to learn skills from the Western powers to fight the barbarians. At 2020, the 8-power allied forces invaded China. China is losing money on the road to humiliation. 4 minutes later, the last emperor, Puyi, was ousted from the throne. The Qing dynasty really fell. Just a minute ago, Sun Zhongshan leadership of the 1911 revolution dealt a blow to the dying feudal monarchy. The May 4th movement broke out at 23:23. Workers and students stand on the stage of history. A minute later the Communist Party of China was born in a small boat on South Lake in Jiaxing to lead China to nirvana. At 23:27, the Japanese army invaded China. The Chinese with the iron drum clank spent the longest 5 minutes. At 23:30 after suffering the Chinese nation finally came to the new China. The Dragon of the East begins to awaken. 2 minutes from the conference in Bandung, Indonesia. China's foreign policy of seeking common ground while shelving differences has won the support of its Third World brethren, helped China return to the end at 23:42. China began its reform and opening up at 2344. 5 seconds later, an old man wrote a poem on the south coast of China. A miracle in the next minute. At 2351, China recaptured Hong Kong and Macau. To join the WTO, successful Olympic bid. At 2353, the first manned spacecraft Shenzhou 5 successfully launched. The Beijing Olympic Games amazed the world. At 2355, the last 5 minutes. China, which an hour ago was losing money in humiliation, has become the second largest economy in the world. The Chinese dream is no longer far away. The seventh wonder of the world, the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge, runs through the Pearl River Delta. Zhu Rong went to Mars to explore the unknown. The Dragon of the East, flying through the air. The great wheel of history rolls on. One fold and one seal or sincere. We're all fellow travelers on this path.